Everybody?
Hello. Test, 1, 2, 3, good. That sounds actually pretty decent.
Okay then.
That should be fine.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Purdue RecWell Esports Invitational, and right now we're featuring Splatoon 2.
Hi, my name is Dynamite Central. I am a current member of Purdue. And joining with me today is Cynthia.
Yep. It's me. I'm a Splatoon comp player, also a Purdue student, and yeah, we're really excited to bring this to you. So up on the stage, we have, on our left is MSU, and on your right, you'll eventually see is PAL. So would you like to tell us a little bit more about PAL?
Yeah, sure. So PAL was a former team of mine, and as far as I know, PAL is considered is composed of four different members of each all experienced in a comp. They originally all started out as a people who wanted to dip their toes into comp and wanted to like get into it, and as they've been running pretty strong for like a year and a half now, and they've shown a lot of drastic improvement, and it's exciting to see them go against another college team today, especially at a local LAN. Would you like to explain MSU?
Oh yes, of course. So MSU is a fairly new team of students from, Michigan State University, and some of these. Without further ado, what are your thoughts going into this game?
So the first game, it looks like, is going to be Splatzone's Mako Mart. And honestly, Splatzone's Mako Mart, that is like the popular de facto map of comp. Everyone loves Mako Mart no matter what mode it is. Like Mako Mart honestly is also one of my favorite maps as well. Just like it definitely relies on a lot of team coordination and keeping track of a bunch of different areas as well, especially with Splat Zone's Mako. Those stacks are key to keeping control of the map and making sure that you keep the enemy team away or at bay or at least pushing into their area.
So one of the basic ideas behind Splat Zones as a whole, for those of you who may be tuning in, is that both the teams are going to try to hold a zone for a given set of time, and if they're able to hold the zone long enough before the 5 minutes are up, they automatically will win the game off that. And one thing we're really going to be watching for here is how are these teams going to use their resources that they have to gain objective control, because that's what Splatoon mainly is about. They could do that through specials, coordination. That'll just be a matter of time to really see what they do. And like Brady Dino said, watching the stack specifically is going to be really critical to just making sure that these teams don't get caught off guard, or someone like a Splash won't just run up behind them, especially for PAL, because if I remember correctly, PAL's going to run a lot of slower weapons, things like Dynamo and other stuff. So yeah, without further ado,
Yeah, we seem to we're kind of having a slow start to the matches and stuff, but we're now getting into the weapon select screen, so we're going ahead and starting the match up real soon. What do you think is going to be like key factors to watch out for from like MSU's side?
Yeah, from MSU, I think one of the things is the Splash specific. Like, Splash is a very flank-heavy weapon. It doesn't have a lot of range. It's got pinpoint accuracy. It's definitely something that can go around, catch off guard. It's a high-mobility weapon, so it's definitely something I'm going to expect a lot of flanks from. My guess is they'll always run an Ink Armor. That's a special that basically gives more HP to all of the players. I would assume that's going to be in the form of an NZAP. It's the most popular armor. And I've also seen MSU play things like Hydra Splatling. And for the Hydra, setting that up on a stack is going to be critical.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then they also have a bucket. So
Yeah,
without further ado, we're starting to get into the game.
going on to try to get zone back.
Yeah, well, Pal's doing a really good job just holding this control and really making sure that they keep the paint control necessary. This game is a lot about painting. And I think Pal is really using this end zap really well to get that paint. And the nice thing about Pal's comp with a lot of these more unknown weapons is that you see these guys basically able to hold their paint really well, which is a lot of what shooter-heavy comps aren't as good at, just because they don't have that DPS. And with some of Pal's weapons, we do see that ability, even if they are a bit slower. And again, Pal, 13 to go. Can they knock it out?
Yeah, it's
a 3v2.
It's very, very close right now. It
Hey,
looks like they are going to
and that's a knockout.
Yep, it looks like they are going
to Pal.
Game 1 straight to Pal already, showing off a strong start against MSU. And wow, that was definitely a very interesting fight on both sides. MSU tried to come back in, but Pal was still holding strong. They managed to lock out MSU long enough just to keep the zone and not get any more penalty points.
Yeah, that was really awesome to see. Just Pal just going in, staying dominant, starting dominant, and just really giving MSU a run for their money, making it impossible for them to really solidify a hold. And I think one of the things that really contributed to that was just the opening aggression from Pal and just really good patience on the counterpart of Pal, which really allowed them just to take control of these critical areas, especially the stacks. We saw that with Kareki's early few picks, and that really gave them the first lockout. So the next map we're going to see here is Rainmaker Manta.
Rainmaker Manta, oh boy, that is certainly, I think it's kind of an interesting one. I've always known Rainmaker Manta to be the one map where it either goes right or, I mean, honestly, it's just generally Rainmaker in a nutshell, but Rainmaker Manta is definitely interesting, especially with that cut area. Cut area is definitely a place that it needs to be watched at all times because you can easily just sneak Rainmaker through there and immediately make a beeline straight for a podium.
Actually, one of the critical things about Rainmaker is just watching. When you're on defense, you need to really be watching all your sides because, like Dino said, if one or two players isn't watching like either the left or the right side, it's a free game for the other team just to go right past them. And in that kind of case, that's a lot of points that they're just giving up for free. And this happens at a lot of comp levels, and it's something we're going to be watching out for. And another thing that Rainmaker really benefits off of, though, if they don't get that type of steal, is slow pushing and just making sure that there's a few initial picks so that they can keep what I would call sustained momentum. Just keeping the advantage in their favor through numbers.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're about to get into this match right now for Rainmaker Manta, and what are you expecting to see this time for comp-wise quickly?
Yeah, so MSU, I'm probably going to see something similar. K-Gal's a very good weapon, same with K-Shot. Really popular weapons. Junior's also very popular. And we're seeing a Naut come out.
There's the Junior, and we still have we have Dynamo Brush Charger and Clash Blaster on the side of Pal.
Well, it looks like MSU, our team's going for the pop. Well, it looks like MSU is taking that pop. Pal choosing to set up early on bunker. Pick on the bunker. That's not good for Pal. They have the Clash up there, but just the Clash isn't going to provide a lot of that defense. Good initial picks off of Pal, though.
Yeah, Kareki going in there, trying to get some picks right now, but he's not finding any. He's slowly going into it, but he does manage to get a pick before he goes down from the Junior.
One of the things that you have to be careful about when you're taking early aggression
Oh, hang on, wait, no, they're still running. They're still running the Rainmaker right now to 35. They're still going all the way to podium. 20 points all the way from Rainmaker by Pal Cold right now. That is huge.
Yeah, and the big challenge for MSU right here is going to be keeping Pal out of their base and just getting back mid-control. Because that's not something that right now, when you're getting out of disadvantage, you really have to be working for.
Yeah,
and
right now.
in this case, this Rainmaker is just trapped. This is not good for MSU.
Yeah,
and Pal they're getting missiled, but you got a brush. It can just run right around the missiles, and they're going to get another free push off of that.
Yeah, right now, Powell is looking like
And
they are
look at
asserting
this,
dominance with
Korecki
Korecki
getting
going
more
ahead and
picks.
just getting a bunch of picks with his brush, but Nautilus manages to get him out of there, and it looks like Powell's going to be mostly cleared out as the Dynamo just jumps right out, admitting its defeat.
MSU really going for the Rainmaker reset here. That's just a strategy where you just leave the Rainmaker for a bit, and then the Rainmaker resets to mid, giving MSU more of a chance. And they're using missiles here, trying to gain some initial momentum. They've got that jet popped out with it. That's good special coordination to see.
Yeah.
And we can see here a little bit clustered to the one side. I can see one of the MSU people here going for a flank. Are they going to get it?
Yeah, and to touch on the specials thing, I think it was a little bit, they kind of popped it a little bit too early, and it doesn't, while it was good special coordination, it doesn't seem like they did a whole lot, as Powell is still there.
Powell has gotten 2 picks in that time frame. Dino is totally right about that. Though MSU swinging around with a pick, but the Powell team is going through.
Cold is just holding forward at this point, so not even waiting for his teammates, and he does manage to push it all the way to MSU's side, but it doesn't really get a whole lot done here.
One of the things I'm really looking for with this knot is to really pressure these guys and block it from approaching MSU, but I see this knot just kind of running forward for the most part. That will be noticed at all.
Yeah, and it seems like MSU hasn't even popped the barrier yet, which is kind of interesting, but they are opting in to go ahead and pick the Rainmaker right now and head it with Bunker. Powell is already getting ready to go ahead and put some defense on for MSU's push. Powell almost then goes ahead and gets his missiles out and manages to kill the Rainmaker.
And the missiles get a pick. Wow. Powell's missiles are just doing so much work, and it's a 3v1. Who's going to pick up? That's a 3v0.
It's a 3v0. They got to run. I don't know what they're doing here, but they got to run. But they do, and that knot goes ahead and sets up defense, and they're now at a chilling position. And Cold going in right now for the podium. He might be able
more
to...
points.
Oh.
It's a 3v1, though. It's a 3v0. Can
it's
they
a 3v0.
KO this?
They might be able to KO
Can
here.
they KO?
And it looks like that
Yes.
is the option here. As Powell Mazen goes ahead and puts it on the podium, giving game 2 once again to Powell.
Yeah, so Powell has pretty much secured the victory for this set, although they're going to be playing one more game, and we'll see here if MSU can challenge them and take off a game, and that will be the big question that us commentators are really looking for, is can MSU learn from these first 2 matches and use that to swing around the next game?
One thing that definitely worked, however, was with Korecki and Omazen just pumping out those missiles and going ahead and just managing to go ahead and isolate most of those members of MSU, or at least separate them, or catch that Rainmaker off guard and bombard him with missiles. Honestly, I feel like that was good coordination on Powell's side on putting out those missiles, as well as Korecki going in and managing to get the picks. Although I will say, with that, him going in, that was a bit risky, but he did get the payoff of all those picks off of MSU.
Yeah. So the next map they're going to be playing here is Tower Control on Starfish main stage, and like any Splatoon mode, paint is especially important. Except for Tower, what I'd like to see more is the team's ability to get picks and just keep this tower moving, because in Tower Control, you have these long checkpoints that each team is going to have to cross, and they're basically a sitting duck while they're trying to take that tower past that checkpoint. And one of the things that really helps with that is if these teams are able to get 1 or 2 picks every few seconds while being relatively close to objective. And that's how you build really sustained momentum. It's just a matter of, I think, which team keeps it longer is going to be the team that comes with this game.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with Tower Control Starfish, it's going to be important to try to secure those checkpoint areas as well. On the defense side, I know definitely my current team, we usually have planned strategies for in case of checkpoints, but we're going to see how well this match goes in TC Starfish. But let's see if we... Oh, double K shot.
Double K shot's going to allow them to really get missiles. They choose a slightly slower armor with a bit of range, although they have double armor, so that'll make up for it. we see PAL going with the Kensa undercover Brella, gonna give them some more skirmish power, but they're sacrificing some DPS for it. We'll see if that pays off.
Yeah, as a huge Kunder fan and as a wannabe person who wants to play Kunder a lot more, I'm glad to see the Kunder.
MSU,
But
the
this
initial
try,
triple.
this try getting a triple.
Is that going to be a quad? That's a quad.
That is a quad on PAL from Nick, MSU Nick right there. And he's just going to go into the spawn right now and try to get some more picks right now. And right now, PAL's just going to have to worry about him.
Can Nick keep sustaining this?
Yeah, right now there's probably
his team is just getting the checkpoint, although I'd like to see more of his teammates with him.
Yeah, but unfortunately, PAL is starting to go down. We're starting to kind of see a little bit of an issue with PAL. They are, however, starting to get back that turf control right now and push MSU out. They're starting to get a good defensive position. Their Kunder now, they're just, right now, almost manages to go down here as Ender goes ahead and pops those missiles. And right now, MSU is currently still in control of the tower, and PAL has to be pushed back into a defensive position at this point.
Yeah, PAL is specials now, except they just lost their armor because that undercover got picked. And we have Kareki on the vanilla ink brush here, just really putting whatever skirmish ability he can on the ground. Is he going to do a splashdown tech?
Nope, he does not look like it. It just seems like he was jumping back to the snipe area just so he can get out.
And it looks like there he just used the splashdown with the missiles too. MSU popping in armor. Are they going to be able to capitalize off of it? And they got one pick, although it turned into a trade. We see here Ender, can he get another pick? He's got to be careful with this undercover because it's got a shield.
Yep, and it looks like PAL is just kind of chilling at the street trying to find where MSU is. And
we can see a solo missile occur. Wow, that got 2 picks.
Yeah, and we're just seeing PAL being really careful here. MSU is still holding control on here, and PAL is just kind of playing it a little safe right now.
Yeah, MSU is getting the objective control while PAL is just responding, and MSU is going to pop missiles. And we can see this tries almost got armor. They're going to really be able to push off that, and they just popped it. And one on PAL dropped. They got picked off. Someone on MSU forced to jump out. There's one to the left here. Are they going to take it? Well, they jumped out. That's really good for PAL. It's going to decrease their respawn times. This undercover here has to be careful to not fall in the fall off of the try.
Yeah, no, definitely. That undercover has to be careful of the try's ledge camping right now and right now they just need to be careful of that ledges regardless because that try is just sharking there and he's waiting for someone to drop. But it looks like they managed to at least push him out and take him out. And it looks like PAL might be able to move up with a bit of a man advantage with 2 down with just the K shots. It's just 1 K shot left.
Wow, they got 3 down on MSU without even using low special resources. And let's just see, PAL's going to be taking the objective. Can they hold this? A Crapid is very good at doing that. They have the undercover on tower. Undercover is a very good riding weapon. If I'm the undercover, I would be wondering, can I stay on there safely? And nope, that's a wipe on PAL. And a wipe is a very dangerous thing because now you can see MSU here is going to have free momentum to do really as they please. And they have 2 specials, 3 specials with that. They popped 2 armors in a row. That really isn't something I like to see, though. That's wasting a little bit of resources. A trade on the try, is that good? Maybe.
Well, it did get rid of some of their aggression. However, it doesn't stop the fact that the tower is still moving, and MSU right now is still around that tower. Plan B here, trying to paint some turf up and trying to push MSU back. It manages to get one of them to jump on forward. And yeah, it just looks like Plan B is just trying to work her way back up and just go ahead and just do as much as she can while she waits for her teammates to go ahead and res.
Well, they got a problem with this try here. He's just sitting there and no one's picked him off.
Yeah.
And he's I feel like he should armor now. And he did. Yeah, he's gonna get 1 pick right there. I just saw an armor come out from PAL. Are they going to get the 2nd pick? No.
No, then Kunder comes in and takes care of business right now as MSU is trying to keep that tower in their possession right now as we're nearing the end of the match.
PAL's got to really make something here. They got 14 seconds to get it into overtime. They're getting on tower. They got 2 on tower. No, 1 got off tower. That was good to see. Although they got a lot of crossfire, they better get that
They
person
got to
off
hold
of
it.
tower.
But right now, they are kind of holding defense right now as
They
MSU
gotta
is
watch
going
this
ahead and
96.
feeding.
That's a good initial pick. They gotta watch that tower in the right of that tower. Good
Nice.
picks on Kareki.
Korekio, but he gets taken out by a bomb, unfortunately. The try is coming in on the left. The shot's coming in on the right.
Can these guys hold
Pal
it? A
needs
little
to
bit
hold
of
it.
an early baller. They got another pick. There's just one to the left. Can
They're
they
all
take
going
it?
on tower.
Oh,
no, but then they
MSU
all
won.
died. They all fed the Pal all fed the tower, which wasn't the wisest move. And unfortunately, MSU was able to pick them all off and get one person on the tower, giving the win to MSU with the final score of 2 Pal, 1 MSU.
Yeah.
It looks
Cal
like
did a really good job, though, pushing at the end. Credits to them and just getting out of a bad situation. And one of the things that I think Cal really did well is they just played as a team. They weren't playing very ordinary weapons. For those of you who have been around in comp like myself,
Shooter meta,
you've
shooter
probably
meta.
seen, okay, yes, I get that, but we see things like vanilla jet sculptures, Kensa 52 gals, Kensa splatter shots, and we were seeing things like undercover brawlers, dynamos, brushes. Like, to be able to play some of these lower painting weapons requires a lot of good team coordination, and that is something we saw with PAL in just pushing these objective measures. And MSU really did a good job. Like, they played slightly more meta, but they also did a good job just getting the picks that they needed as they needed, although they struggled a bit to get out of bad situations, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Especially focusing on Powell with that last overtime push. It seemed like they had a good thing going. They were definitely getting the picks needed, and they were definitely going ahead and riding that tower. However, you don't want to body pile a bunch of people on the tower. You really want to have other people spread out and kind of focus on those key areas where people may be dropping from to secure that overtime. If you're all on the tower, it's all one easy spot that like, oh, we can just all concentrate our fire here, and they're all dead. But
yeah, that's what MSU did there, just taking a 2v1. Like, good players mechanically can win 1v1s, but well-coordinated players win 2v1s. And being able to just find a teammate and work off that and crossfire for your teammates is something that's important to really gaining advantage without using your specials. Because your specials are, as much as people do spam things like armor and missiles, they still are a valuable resource. You have to invest time and disinvest from engagements to actually get those specials in the first place. Yes, you are painting a lot of the time, but being able just to get a pick without a special allows you to lock out opponents in a much more dominant fashion. And right now we're just seeing a change from MSU is going to be stepping off the stage, replaced by ITAP, the other Purdue team that some of you are very well aware of, famous for the Sleepy Tep Man. And would you like to?
ITAP, yes.
Yes, exactly.
So while they're setting up, I think we might take a short break at this point. While we wait for them to go ahead and set up, we'll be right back with ITAP versus POW in a little bit. See you guys later.
Yeah, see y'all later. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to be starting the second set of round robin here. And on the left, we have ITAP, and on the right, we're going to have PAL.
Yeah, PAL has not moved from their seats as the next match, ITAP versus PAL, the two Purdue teams right now showing off well, both their teams facing off each other enough in a fun and interesting way and different types of maps and modes that we've seen from the first match.
Yeah, this is just going to be another Purdue on Purdue team showcase, and we'll see what happens here. The first map here is going to be Clan Blitz Snapper. It's got a right section that has a lot of area for turf control and a more concentrated left section. Something I'm going to be seeing is RD support's going to take the initial right, get their specials, use that to build momentum, and then push the other team's right to gain that map control. And one of the things we're going to see comp-wise, ITAP. So ITAP has Mizuno. Mizuno is a K-Shot splash player. We'll probably see something like that. Aster, commonly known as Beacon Man. We could see a roller at one point in this set. Could see a bucket here. Who knows? And then you have the one and only Gaysicle. You guys probably know him. Plays tent, and maybe a feeding squeezer.
Yep, also known as the person who has the sleepy sleeps in most and sleeps through probably a lot of the scrims from what I've heard.
Yeah, and then the last person is Ewing, and Ewing is a backline player. We'll see him probably pulling out a Hydra maybe, a Hydra tent, a bucket, and a K-Shot. I think that's what ITAP is going to see. I have scrimmed these guys before. I've played on this map against them. I'm genuinely going to be surprised if they run something else. But I really think they're just going to play off getting an initial aggressive pick here on PAL and just getting that spacing.
Yeah, and we're about to see right now as PAL and ITAP begin the first match right now on Clan Blitz Snapper. Let's see how these teams duke it out, and let's see what weapons they pull out.
Well, they're pulling out an ink brush, and PAL pulling out a blah 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 and Flingza. I think PAL has a lot more paint control here, but ITAP has a lot more engaging ability over PAL. PAL has to be careful not to feed into this Hydra here, because that Hydra is going to enforce a lot of space control. Mizuno here just kind of watching out for these bombs, gathering clams, getting ready for the initial push, protecting that Hydra here, and Dino, what do you think they're going to do here?
It looks like they're already getting the picks and starting to set up to get into the basket, and we already got one going for Sneaky, and Mizuno going ahead and cleaning up the rest of the teams here. There's just the pro left, and right now ITAP has a lot of that map control and is able to just throw in clams right now. Ewang going ahead and setting up shop in PAL's bunker and manages to get 2 picks off that. And they're just still throwing clams in. PAL is in a bit of a trouble here, as they're just still getting clams right now. They still have control, and PAL needs to figure out how to get them out right now, and it's not looking that great.
Yeah, so we can see Aster here has 9 clams. You really don't want to pick up a power here, because now you're going to get marked by PAL, and PAL is going to be able to see that.
Yeah.
In this kind of recovery, if you're ITAP here, you just want to try and make the initial push. And look at this. They're getting jumps, a splashdown. It's a 3v1.
Yeah, Aster going in and getting that jump in with the power clam. Gaysicle going ahead and backing up right now to go get more clams, and he's just kind of chilling right there on the rail. PAL is going ahead and just trying to paint out, and they managed to get rid of most of ITAP, but ITAP has managed to push the points down to 12, and PAL is kind of in a little bit of a sticky situation right now as they all run to mid.
Yeah, PAL really has to make an initial push here and watch that brush so that brush doesn't get around and get another power clam in, because ITAP can just follow off of that, and that's a knockout for ITAP at that point. We can see here this brush really just looking for a pick. PAL's got specials. ITAP has to be very careful here to not get picked up. And wow, that is a pick on the pro as they're about to get bubbles. That's going to be good for ITAP in that PAL isn't going to get that special resources.
Yep, and we already see whoa. We have a tent just hiding there on Slick right now, and PAL is unaware of that, and he's going to strike. But then he falls into the water!
Oh, Tent Man falling in the water, wow. Yeah, as a 10th player, I definitely would have liked to see some of his teammates just kind of walk back and follow up on that. You saw in the overlay there, the tent had those 3 in the corner on Pal. If the brush was there, the K-shot, that would have been 3 down with little investment there. And we see this tent here, ITAP, Pal being attracted to that tent, something they have to be very careful about to not waste time.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make another push here.
Pal might be able to get a couple of power clams in as they throw them all in. They managed to get both power clams in at this point. Pal is starting to make a sort of comeback here. And another person falls victim. Another person falls victim to the definitely water there. And
one thing I would like to see.
Oh, but ITAP, hang on, I am sorry to interrupt, but ITAP already has another power and they just go ahead and KO.
ITAP just took that game out of surprise. I was expecting that Pal was going to hold those bubbles a little bit longer on their push to get a little bit more in. And no, ITAP just comes out of nowhere. Do you know who that was?
I'm pretty sure, if what I can guess, I'm pretty sure the brush put another beacon behind the basket maybe. I have no idea who was there. I just saw the jump happen and immediately knew that they were going to go in and try to score right there. Someone probably either snuck in or they had a beacon sitting there that Pal just missed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really good take on ITAP and just requiring a lot of awareness there to really move in off those things and know where Pal players are to really capitalize of that. And that was something ITAP did really well. And we can see here, they're going into Spot Zone Sturgeon. I could expect Pal to be running a Dynamo, maybe a Blob. They actually may go to Flingza for the missiles here. I could see that Junior come back to just give armors, lethals, and just general control. This is a map, though, where it's a zones map. Yes, paint is important, but it's also one of the maps where you have very upfront close fights. And I think if ITAP runs a try or a brush, they're going to be able to work on that very well. Are they going to run beacons with the Tentabro or something? That's something that I think ITAP works really well with. And if they're going to get that, that's going to be really huge and critical for them to work off of. I think they're going to go for a sniper here. Normally with backlines on this map, you'd see jet sculptures, but I have actually never seen E-Wing play the vanilla jet sculpture, which is a weapon that generates a lot of missiles. I think they're going to go back to that K-shot. And with Pal, I think Pal's real challenge is going to be to do what they did to MSU, just get those initial picks and then lock them out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would be, honestly, to go with your VJet explanation, I'll be surprised if I see E-Wing pull out a VJet. I haven't seen him play a lot of VJet, but I don't know his opinion on VJet, but it'll be interesting if he does pull it out. However, I don't think he will do that. I think he may pull out like a charger or something. But we're going to find out right now in Splash Zone Sturgeon.
Yeah, so in just a moment, we're going to see. So we have ITAP here going the leader. That's sacrificing a lot of paint there. We can see the double roller and the Tetras. A lot of these comps are very low paint.
Yeah.
They have a lot of range on Pal. Is this Tetras going to be able to work with the rest?
Yeah, Pal's double roller technique is going to be pretty interesting, but they do manage to get control here, and they're kind of fighting off ITAP, but Aster goes ahead and gets a pick and gets another pick to on the isolated Pal almost end right there. And we can see right now they're just going to cap zone here. And, well, Pal is going to be in a bit of trouble. They weren't able to get those initial picks, it seems. And they're just getting picked off one by both Aster and E-Wing.
Yeah, one of the things that we can see in ITAP's comp is that they've got 2 beacons from the Crack-On Roller and the Tentabro. How are they going to play off this? Are they just going to set up camp spots, wait for picks, and then when they get picked off, just jump right back to those beacons? If so, that's an opportunity for Pal to really pinpoint where they're going to be coming from after their respawns.
Yep, and we already see a Booyah coming out at, that one was kind of a little bit of a questionable Booyah, but we can see already ITAP is just still holding ground. Pal isn't able to do a whole lot with the specials that they're using right now. They go 3 down, and it looks like this match may be set in stone for ITAP.
Yeah, it does not look good for Pal right now. That roller just kind of stormed through early and got those initial picks, and they're going to win it in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, no, ITAP going ahead and asserting dominance there. Powell just having a bit of trouble on that match specifically. Unfortunately, their comp didn't have a lot of paint, and it did rely on a lot of people being down on ITAP in order for it to be a bit effective right now.
Yeah, I think one of the things with ITAP specifically is, well, ITAP really doesn't have a lot of paint. What they did is they just went in aggressive, got those beacons down, made it so that they could constantly get in the action, and they constantly worked off the idea of, I'm going to get a trade here and jump to this beacon, and I'm going to be back in before you are. And the reality of it is that's how they played, but yet they just got picks and stormed right off that. And we're going to be going into the third game here.
Yep, and honestly, Rainmaker Blackbelly. To kind of think about Powell here for a second. I do think that they were trying to go in, but they had some players that were a bit too far up. They were trying to go aggressive, but some of their players were just kind of too far off and too isolated, especially if that flings a roller. That person kind of was a bit too far away from teammates and kind of on his own, and they had to kind of help pick up or help him out and out of that situation. But enough of that match. Rainmaker Blackbelly is it's an iffy map. Blackbelly is it's kind of interesting, especially. Don't get me started on Blackbelly zones. My gosh, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I really think that I'm going to see one or two Stingrays out here. Since Stingray, it's a narrow map that's very long, and there's one really good pathway for teams to take in their push, and Stingray pretty much shuts that down in a few seconds. So I would not be surprised to see probably a vanilla Splat Charger from E-Wing on the side of ITAP, and for PAL, we could see something like a V Dynamo. Who knows? We'll just see in a moment.
Yep, and we're going ahead and starting up the match once again, the final match, Rainmaker Blackbelly. We already know that ITAP has pretty much secured the set, but let's see how this match goes out.
They're running a GooTuber. GooTuber and a Clash Blaster. What is this?
The GooTuber and Clash Blaster. Aster is out here to go ahead and just game on people with his goo.
And look at this. Gasicle running the Crack-On Roller. That's Aster's weapon. What are they doing? Beacon Man and GooTuber. What the? I'm trying to comprehend what is going on here.
I think
Pal is making a good initial fight, though that's a white.
I think what's going on here is ITAP has gotten pretty comfortable right now, and it seems like they can just run these kinds of weapons against PAL because they know what to do against them right now. And they're able to go ahead and push the Rainmaker all the way to 50, still moving up. PAL's kind of having a little bit of trouble to try to get rid of ITAP right now, but they are kind of holding them back right now. Ray comes out, but it does not hit the missiles come out and at least deal the damage, and PAL is going ahead and clearing them out a bit, but right now that Flings a Roller is kind of in a troublesome position if that Rainmaker bubble bursts.
Yeah, what is that? Flings a Roller just sat there for a moment, but I was gonna say, like, if you're PAL in that moment, what you want to do is use that burst bomb rush to pop the Rainmaker and get the picks on ITAP.
Ooh.
And we can see this goo is getting way too comfortable here. They got initial pick. They got to do something. Well, they got splashdown canceled by this Forge here, and that's going to give PAL an opportunity to start moving in. Although they got to watch that roller.
Yeah, they totally neglected to watch behind them and immediately dove, not even thinking about the possibility of someone actually jumping in after Aster's big goo pop-off.
We can see Omazen just trying to control space here and making it so that PAL has an opportunity to get a push, just trying to defend from ITAP from going any further. And it looks like they're going to get the Rainmaker reset here.
Or not. No, they just go ahead and Omazen goes ahead and picks it right up and is currently going ahead and firing out shots right now to try to get some pain up and also to keep ITAP back in bay.
Yeah, no. ITAP really here seems like they're kind of in a corner right now. How are they going to get out of it? Well, I see the blob going right and this roller from the other side. Is this blob going to be able to use the angles that its weapon provides to provide 2 assists? And they're going to be able to really push off this. Yep. And we can see ITAP just moving in. Bomb rush right out.
Yep, we can always, like you said, E-Wing putting out that bomb rush. They're going to be able to go ahead and secure secure the area. And oh my goodness, is
Oh
that
my
a roller in their
goodness,
spawn?
that's the roller in the spawn. Well, goodness, they got that pick. That's going to be allowing them to take control here.
Yeah, but it seems like Powell's going ahead and dropping in to try to stop ITAP. ITAP has a lot of map control right now. Powell is just trying to go in and get a pick. Koreki trying to get a pick,
Koreki
but
got
gets
picked off.
Yeah, and a roller
And the
roll.
roller's going to rickroll them.
Oh my goodness. But unfortunately, Mizuno going ahead and taking out that roller. Powell almost then going ahead and dropping in
from
there.
Mizuno there. Just
And
making
Ewing.
a leeway for the Rainmaker, trying to get the knockout here, but this bucket is using its fall off to its real good advantage. It's just being able to sit there, get picks without any sort of worry. And this is an opportunity for Pal here to reset. But they got to get that pick.
Yeah, but right now we can already see some members of ITAP kind of jumping in there right now. ITAP needs to be cleared out right now for Pal to be able to do something. And it looks like they did get them mostly cleared out, but that Goo Tuber is a bit of an issue right now, as we've seen previously. Goo does back up for a moment, but he's coming back and swinging along with Mizuno to come in and get some picks. Mizuno gets picked off by the bucket. Aster goes ahead and gets the Koreki, and right now it seems like the Rainmaker is kind of in a little bit of some trouble as he has to move back. And he's going right this time with the ramps, and yeah, I think Pal's just trying to improvise here at this moment.
Yeah, I think Pal really just kind of made a mistake there. Like, the initial goal for them was to get ITAP out of there, and they neglected one of them. And that one turned into two, then turned into three. And Pal went to now a 3v1.
Oh my goodness, did he just die from the Rainmaker bubble? Oh no! Aster going down and getting splashdown canceled by the Rainmaker bubble. Oh no! And the worst part is that was on stream too. That's gotta be rough.
Well, they got 20 seconds left. Pal really has to just get picks and push these two. Otherwise, the game is for ITAP.
Yeah, right now, ITAP can just kind of hold defense here. They really don't need to do much, and it seems like Pal's going ahead. They have to try to pick up this Rainmaker at this moment, but ITAP is kind of keeping it secure. They just need to try to pick it up.
And it's overtime, and that game will go to ITAP.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pal, not much they can do there except try to run and attempt to grab that Rainmaker, but ITAP did manage to keep it secure, and, well, yeah, that's going to be game for ITAP, 3-0.
Yeah, and that concludes this set. And one of the things I really saw that was good on ITAP is just improvising off the point, getting picks, having really good awareness with that roller specifically, just getting around where Pal isn't noticing. And if you're Pal, you got to pay attention to these things and really clear them out to be able to focus on moving yourselves forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. Regardless, though, I think Pal did really good at that Rainmaker Black Belly match, especially since ITAP is like a very, very higher skill level compared to Pal. I think they held it out on their own very, very well, and like the first two matches were kind of decent, but that Rainmaker Black Belly, I think they managed to get it together. They managed to figure out some of ITAP's kinks, and they managed to go ahead and not get knocked out at that moment. So I think they did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Pal did. They got points off ITAP in that first game, coming close to a really good push there, and that's going to be it for Pal in these round-robin sets. We're going to see a third round-robin set with ITAP staying on stage and MSU going up where Pal currently is.
Yeah, no, definitely. So make sure to not go anywhere. We'll be right back as soon as we are ready with MSU versus ITAP. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful match in Splatoon at Purdue. Now, with POW all done with the round robins, we still have MSU to play their match, as well as ITAP. So this next match, MSU versus ITAP.
Yeah, so one of the things we're going to be looking for is really seeing these two schools clash it out here in this third round robin set. We have ITAP, the Purdue team that just beat the other Purdue team, against MSU's one and only MSU team. So this is going to be really an interesting showdown to see. And we're starting here on Tower Inkblot. This is something that I've worked on with a lot of the teams that I've coached quite a bit, is keeping just momentum and control and getting picks while not wasting too much of your special resources. The big thing here about Tower Inkblot is that you want to keep momentum rolling through to get these checkpoints, get the specials out, while keeping yourself alive and preserved, just so that you have enough resources to get one or two picks constantly and flowingly without getting one down, two down, or even a wipe. Just keeping a push is really important in tower control, because as you go further and further, your special count, basically you get specials quicker while you are pushing the objective in tower control, which is different from all the other modes in the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're already, they already ready. Both teams have already readied up very quickly. We're about to get this match going right now. TC Inkblot Art Academy. Let's see what we got for team comps.
Yeah, so we can see here ITAP bringing out a heavy, and I would assume the beacon roller. And MSU coming out with their classic double missile, double armor. If you're MSU here, you really want to be using those specials and pushing back ITAP. ITAP doesn't have a lot of paint as it is. So if MSU can abuse that, that'll be their win condition here.
Yeah, no, definitely. ITAP already setting up shop and being able to go ahead and get some turf right now and push MSU back. They're kind of in a comfortable position where they can kind of push MSU. MSU kind of going down one by one right at this moment. And ITAP, oh, we already see Gasical and Aster going up into their bats area, and they're already setting up shop up there. ITAP already has a pretty comfortable position set up, and MSU right now just needs to try to hold it together, kind of just keep back. But hey, that gal got a pick, and well, ITAP's still running that tower, but MSU, okay, well, there we go. MSU goes ahead and manages to clear most of them out.
Yeah.
But they're still dealing with a roller on their side. That roller is not gone yet. And they're just getting jumps in, and they're still being a nuisance to them. And there we go. ITAP is just, the Beacon Man just being a Beacon Man, popping his ballers and popping all those armors off of MSU. Gasical and Aster has just set up their own little territory there, and MSU is just completely ignoring it, which they should.
Yeah, ignoring those kind of skirmishy distractions. Like right here, you can see Aster really just trying to keep the area and distracting these people. And ITAP had a really good initial push, getting one or two picks, and that was not good for MSU, because MSU was just kind of walking into ITAP as they were pushing. And they could very well do that here if they become impatient. And we can see someone on ITAP just rolling right to their spawn. Aster just holding these guys off, really just kind of just blocking them out to the fullest.
Yeah, no, MSU is definitely in a lot of trouble with that roller just sitting up there and just kind of, just kind of sitting there. And unfortunately, it looks like ITAP may push it for a win, and there we go.
Yep, that's a knockout, and that's the first game just right to ITAP. And ITAP really played well there. MSU for a bit was just trying to engage the roller when the roller had baller and the tank shield, and those are things that aren't easily destroyable, and that ultimately caused MSU to waste a lot of time on those things, and it gave ITAP the resources that they needed and the picks to just keep the sustained momentum like I was talking about earlier. So next here, we're going to see Climb Blitz on Piranha Pit. This is a very aggressive-oriented map where you have to move quickly past a long line of turf just to get to the basket and score. And one of the key properties I see about this map is if you hold 2 defensively, you could get pushed back pretty easily. And ITAP, they're probably going to run a tent. They're probably going to run a brush here. And if they can really use some of those resources just to push right into MSU, and MSU falls for it, they could be in big trouble here.
Yeah, no, definitely. Clam Blitz Piranha Pit is also just like a lot of, especially when you're on the defense side, when it's mainly just trying to cut off a lot of their, when the offense is trying to move in for the defense side, it's mainly just trying to cut off a lot of their clam supplies. Honestly, I'm kind of expecting ITAP to just kind of go in aggressively as they've shown in the past like few matches and just kind of set up shop once again, and yeah, just take care of business.
Yeah, ITAP really, I think, is going to really benefit from going the vanilla tent, which has bubbles, and that's going to really allow them to push. I think ITAP's also going to go with a Hydra here, which is going to prevent MSU or make it very hard to push against them. And I know this kind of because I've played against ITAP. ITAP is very good on this map. When I played them on this map, locking me out with the Hydra was a really good win condition for them. And just bringing the tent into these spots where we just couldn't ignore him, that was also something that was very important to that. And if you want to discuss comps going into this, you take it away.
Yes, so let's see what we've got for both sides of the team. ITAP employing a double backline here, Expo and Hydra, and MSU going ahead and bringing out the CDS and the bucket this time.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that Expo. The Expo is running QR build and is pretty much looks like holding forward. Expo is a slow kill weapon that basically acts like a bomb. I don't know what Gaisicle is necessarily trying to do out of this.
Well, we already see both teams have a power climb up very quickly right now. MSU is going ahead and taking over that right ramp area. The bucket goes ahead and gets one pick right now. They're able to start going ahead and getting in, but ITAP manages to sneak in somehow, unfortunately, making their push nil.
It looks like MSU didn't really watch out for that brush, and man, they are paying the price for it. ITAP is just getting in clams, and MSU is 3 down, just respawning right now. This is a bad moment for MSU.
Yeah, we can already see MSU going ahead and trying to set up some defensive position right now. They managed to get a pick off the Gal manages to get a pick off the Expo. Mizuno going ahead and throwing in a couple more clams, but gets picked off by MSU. But they are not careful about that brush there, as he's just sitting down and they're useless, and he jumps out. And yeah, that's going to be it for ITAP's push, as MSU needs to try to figure out how they need to break back in with ITAP together.
This is MSU's moment to really make an initiative here, and we can see that Expo doesn't have a lot of paint, but the Slosher didn't take that engagement properly and got punished for it. And now ITAP has another motion just to go in again.
Yeah, no, definitely. It seems like right now ITAP is able to go ahead and just pick them off one by one at this point, but the CDS manages to hold defense and wait a bit for their teammates to respawn, which is a good idea, especially since ITAP is going ahead and pushing out the specials right now to get a push going. Ender trying to get a pick over there with Mizuno, but unfortunately Mizuno manages to win that fight. Aster going in with the brush again to try to get a jump in for the clams, it seems like, but he's going to go right back into useless, and we can already see both power clams going ahead and running into the basket as all of those MSU people are preoccupied with the brush.
Well, it seems like Aster's aggression is really paving the way for ITAP to make all of these really good and strong pushes. And MSU has got to do something here. They got to take the bait from them. They got to catch Gaisicle feeding with that X-Flow. Otherwise, they're not going to get anything. And we can see MSU is 2 down. They got to be careful with this K-Pro right here. Otherwise, they are done.
Yeah, no, definitely. I exactly agree with this. And we can already see Aster going ahead and just cleaning up shop with the brush right here. Manages, but MSU is trying to strike back. It's a 2v2 situation, but Ewayne still gets a power clam in, and Ender's just kind of putting his back onto Ewayne and pops missiles at an unfortunate time, forcing him to solo missile Ewayne as Ewayne goes ahead and just jumps out, effectively wasting those missiles.
Yeah, if you're MSU here, one of the things you can definitely take away from this match And just your other match against Pal as well is awareness here. Just watching where your teammates are and making those distinctions to everybody before you make your initiatives. Because I don't feel like I'm seeing a lot of that. And ITAP is really just taking advantage of that. And they're really close to a knockout. They need, all right, that's the knockout. That's game 2 right to ITAP.
Yep. And yeah, I can agree with your point. It does seem like MSU is kind of having a little bit of an awareness issue, or sometimes when they are aware, they already just laser focus on that one person and forget about the other 2 people that are running in with power clams or with objective. So honestly, it's kind of a combination of they do need to be decently aware, but they also need to also have priorities.
Yeah. And again, I think MSU wasn't really sure what their priorities are, or maybe they weren't exactly in line with what was necessary, because from my perspective, I basically saw the Hydra ones and the brush just paving the way for that aggression. And if you just take that brush out before they can do anything, and then follow that up with the bombing the tent, now you've got a space where the Hydra doesn't have a lot of control. You can focus on the Hydra, focus on the K-Pro, outpaint them, pressure them enough that you can make a sustained push. And Zone Hotel is a really good map to really demonstrate that and work on that. It's a very long-range map. We'll probably see an E-leader from Ewing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Zones Albacore has been a map that I've been seeing a little bit more TOs kind of put on their map list. It's very, very difficult to manage. It's definitely one of the maps that the comp community is kind of about because of the fact that there's separate areas and like there's a bunch of, it's mainly long, it favors a lot of long range weapons, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of short range weapons here are really ineffective. Like, for example, the 10 attack splatter shot really can't do anything here. The Kensa splatter shot basically is reduced to spamming missiles. The Kensa 52 Gal can struggle here. Squeezer Knots are really good aggressive weapons here. Same with CDS, but we're seeing a brush out of all things.
All right. Yeah, I'm curious to see how ITAP is going to use that brush to their advantage, but then again, it is Aster. He has been doing well with his brush against MSU, and they already instantly capped zone. What the heck?
Yeah, from what I can see with MSU, they want to be spamming missiles here and just setting up that Nana Naglugas. But in reality, it looks like it's a 3v2. MSU can take it here. They got to take the zone. Why are you focusing on that tent?
That 10 is serving to be a perfect distraction as they finally are able to cap zone right now. But it seems like MSU is going ahead and recovering right now and managing to keep ITAP a little bit back at bay, but that E-leader is going to start being a huge issue right now.
We can see these missiles get popped. I'd like to be seeing a chain here from the MSU players, and the ITAP players look like they're going to be able to get control with this tent alone.
Oh, wait, did they just set up shop? Did they just set up another beacon that Gay can just go ahead and just run in? Because right now we can already see Gay is already at the other side of the enemy spawn right now. And, well, now he goes down, but still, that's still a minor issue. But MSU does manage to clean up. Unfortunately, a zap, it does look like a zap just fell out of the map there for a second. But they are cleaning up right now, and but it's kind of not looking that good right now. They kind of need to just focus specials.
Yeah, well, MSU got those picks, but they're really struggling to get the objective back. That's unfortunate. And MSU cluster not in their own paint. That's just free for ITAP just to walk right into. And you can see MSU has a delayed wipe.
Yep, and it
the
looks like...
The Tech Man is in their base.
Yeah, and
it looks like it's going to be a KO for ITAP. ITAP going 3-0 this set. What do you think?
Well, yeah, no, definitely. Especially when all of MSU started to go in at that last moment there, it kind of just sealed the deal for ITAP once all the members of ITAP was in their area. And with 15 points left on the zone, it kind of just sealed the deal there for a moment. MSU did have a strong start against ITAP, but ITAP was able to pick up the pieces, recover, and, well, effectively just win the match.
Yeah, I would have to say MSU had a lot of opportunities to go in there and just paint, because we did see that Dualies get picks on the tent and a few others. What MSU as a team really has to focus on is using your painting weapons to be able to really capitalize off of those picks, getting the objective control, using your specials to lock ITAP out. ITAP did not have a comp that was very resilient to their missiles. I would have liked to see that be used a lot more.
Yeah, no, definitely. We are done with the round robin segment of our little invitational right now, and coming up next, we're going to have PAL face off against MSU for this semifinal set right now. It's going to be another interesting match. Who is going to come out on top and be able to face against ITAP? We'll find out after some time, after we get the set up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. We're back here for the Top Cut semifinals, and right on the stage, we've got PAL on the left and MSU on the right. And we're going to be starting here with Splat Zones on Wahoo World. A long-range map with a fairly small zone. I could see a lot of Booyah Bombs here. I'm definitely going to see backlines, maybe some missile spam, who knows?
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I'm expecting MSU to pull out the double K shot again. I mean, I'm not gonna be too surprised. I'm not gonna be too surprised if I see that again. But seeing the fact that the past 2 games, there's always been 1 instance of a double K shot, I won't be too surprised if they go ahead and pull that out. But this is gonna be, well, I mean, honestly, it's gonna be expected. This is a rematch against PAL versus MSU. Maybe we'll see that MSU kind of learn some stuff against PAL and may be able to use some PAL's techniques against them, hopefully.
And for another change, these sets are going to be a best of 3, meaning that whoever wins 2 games first takes the set. And that means if PAL or MSU wins both game 1 and game 2, they're done and they don't even play the 3rd game.
Yeah, no. So this one is going to go a bit quicker because we're kind of on a timeline here. We need to start wrapping up so we can give the broadcast back to Dota real quick. But so the semifinals thing is going to be best of 3, but the grand finals is going to be best of 5. So that one will be a lot longer than, well, how this match will go.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm going to look for as we get into this first game is really who's going to get the initial specials, who's going to get the initial armor, who's going to make that first push. If PAL can replicate what they did against MSU on Mako zones, they're going to be able to take initial push. But the issue with Wahoo is that Wahoo's got a lot more range. It's going to be harder to sneak up like that on MSU. And the way MSU is positioning, MSU could get the initial advantage here if Kareki does not adapt.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one thing MSU would probably want to focus their attention to is definitely Kareki. Kareki has been the person that has led the pushes for PAL, and if MSU can, and when we saw in TC Starfish, once Kareki was gone, MSU was able to go up and clear up PAL, or at least push them back a bit, because it seems like a lot of their aggression power comes from Kareki.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I also think the other teammates were doing a good job working with him and getting the picks necessary. Like, we saw stuff from Omazen, Cold, and Plan B. They were all working together. It wasn't just Kareki. Like, give credit to the whole team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just saying for like that initial, like, for them to like get their pushes going. It seems like Kareki seems to be that push leader. And if he goes down, then it's going to be a little bit tougher for PAL to start going ahead and pushing up. But it's not out of the question that they won't be able to push. But MSU probably needs to take note about and just find Kareki and kind of just call him out, because he seems to be the biggest threat in having PAL start their pushes.
Yeah, either way, MSU, I really want to see work on taking that numbers advantage against PAL to further lock out PAL. And we're going to see Kareki going with the Octobrush, MSU going with the K52 and the 96. You have double armor on the side of MSU. You have missiles, you have a Booyah Bomb, great usage of specials, and we can see here PAL just getting more so set up. I'd like to see that Dynamo set up by mid.
Yep, and we're already seeing some specials coming out on the side of MSU, but PAL seems to be getting their specials of their own. Missiles coming out, and they're instantly going to go ahead and try to cap zone here. And it seems like Omazen has to back up immediately because, well, MSU is putting out those missiles. MSU takes back the zone once again, and they take a very, very, very short lead here, and PAL's just kind of stagnant on that bridge area. They need to try to find a pick somewhere for MSU to be able to at least try to get something going. Otherwise, MSU is just going to be able to continue to paint here at this point.
Yeah. So far, it's been pretty much a stalemate where both teams are just kind of hustling specials at each other and not much significant is occurring. We aren't seeing the same thing that we saw in Mako zones where Kareki just kind of went in. And you're going to see Kareki trade with the MSU K52.
Yep, and we already see Cold here going out and putting out those bubbles right now as they take the lead. Cold is still outputting a lot of those bubbles and having Koreki get jumps in. And MSU is going ahead and putting a Booyah, forcing Cold to retreat here. A jump comes in from Plan B as they go ahead and try to move up. MSU is starting to stall that, but it looks like it was only just one person of MSU. 96 Gal Sandy going ahead and trying to paint up for a zone right now to try to at least stall it as they wait for their teammates to come in. But they do have to back up at this point because Purdue POW is putting in a lot of specials right now with that suction bomb rush. And right now, that Gal managed to get 2 picks right now. They might be able to cap zone right now, but POW is putting a Booyah on their own, but they're too late, and MSU manages to cap zone, buying them some more time to allow them to get a bit of lead.
Yeah, so well, POW got a penalty because MSU was able to cap, but MSU was locked out for quite a while. And for a while, it just looked like they were staggered as they used their specials really early. And we're seeing missiles take everybody out.
Yeah.
What's going to happen on the side of POW?
Yeah,
it looks like they're in good positions. MSU has to be careful. Koreki coming in, taking a pick. Can they follow up?
Oh, but it seems like Cold is able to help follow up with clearing out that zone area. MSU has to back up once again, and they're kind of spread out right now. As a Booyah comes out from the side of POW, MSU manages to get a pick off Koreki, and it seems like right now they are going to go ahead and pop a Booyah to try to paint up that zone and push that Dynamo back. And it looks like they were successful in retaking the zone. Now they just need to keep POW out for the time being, and they just need to try to move up just a tad bit to make sure and find picks. A great use of that wall by Ender there, going ahead and helping his teammates move up a bit. But it seems like that Booyah from the Plan B and a double missile on Ender is going to complicate things a bit.
Yeah, Ender had 20 missiles on him, and PAL really did a good job of using their specials and using that to get control. And that K-52 is down, and no one got picked off by that Booyah bomb. A little bit of a wasted special, and PAL is in the position we saw them earlier in, where they're just sitting in a lockout. MSU needs to be very well coordinated, but we're seeing Cold just kind of back there, not really helping, not much of an ideal situation. And I think MSU has a chance to cap here, and they do.
Yep, and we see another Booyah thrown out as we both see the Dynamo and the Brush try to come in, but the Dynamo does drop, and MSU Nick going in for the pick, but the Dynamo's got his number. Unfortunately, MSU manages to take out the Plan B with a 96 Gal, and it seems like they are starting to get lead here. This may look like a comeback situation here.
Yeah, it's a good initial missile from Omazen. I would like to see the rest of the team push off these missiles, and are they doing that? I think so. They got 2 missiles out. They got the cap. All PAL needs to do is let MSU burn their specials, stay alive. And look at that. 2 down on MSU. All of PAL is alive. They just armored a little bit of a wasted armor. That try goes down. We can see. I want to see PAL here really just controlling the stacks. Omazen has to be careful. MSU has another cap chance.
It looks like they tried to throw that Booyah on that jump there, but they were able to still get the jump out, but it looks like we are going to go into an exciting overtime match here as MSU is starting to paint up finally, and it looks like the Blob is trying to output special. And it seems like they have their special right now. POW is going ahead and putting out all their specials with missiles, Booyah Bomb. They're just putting out all the specials to try to cap zone. MSU is backed up at this point, and MSU needs to try to hold the zone right here. POW almost at going in and trying to go ahead and cap zone, but it seems like MSU is trying to hold it right now as it goes down to 13 points. Missiles are getting popped out right now. 2 down
on MSU.
MSU is going ahead and trying to keep the zone. Booyah coming out. 10, and it's MSU. MSU takes the win. Oh my gosh. What a wonderful performance by MSU, managing to hold back PAL long enough to take that lead and take the win on overtime. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was really amazing. Like, PAL did a really good job, but when they needed to push, they were just having a few down, and it was just giving MSU the chance to really work off PAL just having to feed in, being forced to, and MSU got the benefit of that, just getting those initial picks. And the next map here is going to be Tower on the Reef. The question is MSU going to be able to take this game and end the set, or is PAL going to be able to take it to game 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna say MSU at the beginning of that match, they were pretty playing it safe. They weren't pushing up, and that allowed PAL to go ahead and reset, re-jump back in, and just be able to take zone back again and again. But eventually, MSU managed to push up into their court area. They finally got the motivation to push up and get PAL, PAL gone. And PAL started to get a little panicky there, especially in that overtime situation. And MSU was able to just take advantage of that and take the set.
Yeah,
I mean, well, the match, the game, not the set.
Yeah, and we're gonna see here with game 2, Tower Reef. I think that K-Gal could be good used by MSU, but I've seen MSU go for a double missile, double armor comp. I think they can benefit if they bring that back out. PAL, I think, will bring out the Ken's Undercover Umbrella, probably the missile NZAT from Omazen. Kareki, who knows what Kareki is gonna go, and then plan B, probably Dynamo, Flingza, maybe the Kensa Dynamo.
Yeah, no, again, this is a best of 3. PAL needs to make sure they don't lose this next one. Otherwise, they are going to be eliminated and not able to play against ITAP tonight. We're going to be moving on. Again, I'm pretty sure you said this, but we're moving on to Tower Control Reef. And right now, PAL just needs to try to figure out what they possibly did wrong, and hopefully they adapt to MSU strategies. And yeah, they managed to push it to a game 3. That would be very exciting if we can get to a game 3 at this point.
Yeah, the major challenge for both of these teams is going to be pushing past the first checkpoint where the other team can just drop on the tower from their right or just use specials to drop them instantly. Because once you get past the second checkpoint on this map, most likely you're going to win. And if you get past the third checkpoint, that's pretty much the game for that team. So I'd like to see PAL having that early aggression, just getting out there and being able to challenge MSU. And for MSU to be able to use their specials to gain that advantage and maybe push that on PAL and make it hard for them to get in the first place.
All right, yep, and we're gonna see what they play here in Tower Control Reef. We have a Clash Blaster, 2 blasters on the side of PAL, which is an interesting choice here with the Dynamo. Not a whole lot of paint on the side of PAL. MSU, on the other hand, does have that paint. So this is gonna be, looks like PAL is going to have to rely a lot on those picks. Oh, but we already see one go down on each side of both PAL and MSU right here, as Kareki and Cold go to the tower area. But MSU has that bridge area, so that could be a little troublesome. Kareki getting a pick, 2 picks there, putting MSU down to 3.
Yeah, PAL is a really good opportunity to just create sustained momentum here, and I think they're doing that very well. They're just going in, getting picks. They still have 3 specials.
Yep, and we can already see here Cold's going ahead and getting ready to use that clash, just sharking there, waiting for a moment. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that moment, but it seems like MSU is dropping in from the bridge. Cold is able to notice this.
Can we get that
zap? Yeah, we do. The zap does get a trade, but it's only just Omazen alive on the side of PAL, and MSU is able to go ahead and start pushing.
Well, this is an opportunity here for MSU to basically just push in, take picks off PAL, start creating momentum, make it hard for PAL to even get paint. PAL has 2 blasters. MSU cannot let PAL get too comfortable. And we can see this K-Gal is going to try and attract attention to the right. But PAL's Ray stopped them to a degree.
Yeah, definitely. The Ray coming out from Cold here as he goes to the tower. MSU, there's a lot of paint on that side. It's a little bit risky with PAL going in on it, with Cold going in on his own right there. And Plan B going ahead and trying to paint up and support Cold here at this moment. Kareki is starting to try to move in as well. It may be a little bit troublesome as they need to try to paint up first before trying to engage that. But Kareki goes ahead and manages to back up and live right now and drops down from the bridge. And, well, it seems like PAL is able to get past checkpoint 2 at this point. MSU is in a little bit of trouble right now as PAL Omazen is cleaning up down there, allowing Kareki to move up. And, yeah, it seems like right now PAL is looking at a steady pace to get a lead right here.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot for MSU because, like I said, PAL is going to be in a good spot and too comfortable if they get all the paint control because they're able to hold it really well. And that's exactly what PAL did. And you know what? They took the second game with a knockout, and we're going to get to see this set go to a game 3 on Mako Mark Klamblitz and see which team can pull it together and win the semifinals to fight ITAP in the finals.
Yes, we're going into Game 3. It's going to be very exciting. These teams seem to be well evenly matched, as we've seen for these past 2 matches. And especially since we're going back to Mako Mart, that's going to make things twice as interesting. Because again, Mako Mart is the comp player's most popular choice.
Yeah, and earlier we played Splat Zones on Mako Mart. What's going to be interesting is if we see Kureki go with that same aggressive strat on Climb Blitz just to create the same openings. After all, it is the same map, except the objective is slightly different. And one of the major differences between Mako Zones and Mako Clams is that Mako Zones you can hold for a bit, but Mako Clams you have to make quick, sudden pushes, because if you wait too long, you're not going to get to basket before the enemy just responds and is able to start building up control. So this is really a map and mode combo that requires significant lockouts.
Yes, definitely. We already see that the players are going ahead and going on to the weapon select screen here, which means we're going to commence this match soon. What do you think MSU is going to do here to try to at least get this to at least try to secure this victory here and secure the set?
Yeah, I think they're going to really work on just using their special output, just chaining the armor and missiles, and when they do get opportunities to push, just using the missiles to push PAL back and make it harder for them to focus on actually getting the picks on MSU versus just keeping themselves alive.
Yeah, no, definitely. I honestly, on the side of PAL, I'm going to expect them to probably play. I would expect them to play something that they are mostly comfortable with. I may see a couple. I'm thinking we may see a couple of shooters on the side of PAL, but it depends on what they all choose. They're kind of just deliberating right now and talking amongst themselves. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what each team is going to play. Are we going to see wacky comps still, or are we going to see like the more meta comps come out? But honestly, who knows? It's a LAN. Anything can happen here.
Yeah, I personally think that we're going to see a fairly meta comp come from MSU, but I think PAL is going to stick with the off-meta combinations that they have been running, including blasters, brushes, the dynamo roller, and the challenge with that, again, like I said, is working as a team and just forcing a lockout so that you can keep the paint control that you have. And let's see what they're going to run.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to see what exactly each team is running. We have the Luna on Kureki still. MSU is going ahead and bringing out that try again. That's going to be a little bit troublesome if PAL isn't watching those ledges again.
Yeah, we can see the opening here. Early missiles on the side of PAL.
Oh.
Blob picked off on the side of PAL, and it looks like MSU is going to get the opening advantage.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like PAL was pushing up a little bit too far, at least for their different respective people, and MSU was able to just pick them off quickly and easily like that. But it seems like, regardless, PAL is picking up all the pieces right now and starting to move back up again.
Yeah, one thing that we can definitely see is Kureki just using his fizzy bombs to just start to move this line and put pressure on MSU, and it seems to be working.
Yep, and he's going to have to jump out here. MSU is starting to push in with a solo clam push. He misses the clam, unfortunately, which allows PAL to go ahead and reset that defense. Not the wisest decision on MSU's part to solo push that.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like I said, the baskets are very close to spawn here. This is a map very much about team play and team pushes. You can't really get away with an individual push because you aren't going to be able to lock them out once you do that.
Yeah.
In fact, it'll just give the other team a free pity.
Yeah, no, definitely. It especially hurts the fact that MSU missed that clam, so now they no longer have a power clam. They got to scurry around and try to build a power clam. And unfortunately, those missiles are going to be another hassle or another hurdle for them to manage. And PAL almost then going in right now and getting that ball in and getting some points started. Kureki going in, trying to get some clams into the basket, as well as Plan B to join in with them. And MSU, it's a 2v2 situation. Now it's 1v1. Almost then can still jump in at this point, but it's a Quetzaluna versus MSU Nick right now. And a Quetzaluna does manage to jump out, allowing MSU to go ahead and recover back to mid.
Yeah, PAL did a really good job just getting those early picks, and we saw that in their push. They got more than just the pity in. And MSU really needs to focus on staying alive, getting those specials, and they seem to be kind of struggling in firefights on a 2v2 here. They don't have really that many clams, so they can't really push get effectively.
Oh, but those missiles managed to take out the Luna right there, which means most of their frontline aggression is pretty much gone for a little bit. Ender going ahead and trying to paint up right now, trying to find something. He does get a special ready to go, but it doesn't look like their teammates are kind of ready to go push, so that Booyah is kind of wasted.
Yeah, well, it seems like PAL is kind of clustering on some of these stacks. If you're MSU, you really want to take advantage of that and just kind of move off those stacks. Punish the Dynamo and the Blob for sitting with each other, and you can do that by throwing your missiles and your lethals more, your suction bombs on that K-shot. And I think I might have just seen somebody holding forward and running into the Luna Blaster here. Kareki's going to get an assist.
Yep, already 2 of MSU goes down. And one thing I'm noticing is MSU is starting to kind of go 2x2, stagger in 1x1 as well. Kareki is able to take advantage of that at this point and makes a power climb, but it marks him, unfortunately, for Sandy, who was able to just laser him with the 96 gal.
Yeah, well, Sandy's doing a really good job just kind of pushing in, except he may be going a little bit impatient. He's got 2 on him. Can he stay alive?
Oh,
he got a pick.
I'm actually surprised right now. How is he still here and how is he still alive? Finally, PAL is starting to drop in.
How did
but they
Sandy
need to get
a
clams
double?
in. They need to get clams in right now and not focus on trying to getting picks. But unfortunately, the basket closes and that's the end of MSU's push. And yeah, they just weren't able, the picks were great. However, clams are a priority in this mode, not picks.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Omazen really just kind of controlling this area here, preventing MSU access to it. That's gonna help PAL's defense, and it's just gonna make sure that PAL doesn't lose in overtime like they did in net zones. Although PAL has to be very careful. They got 3. That's a very good opportunity here.
Oh, but
it's just the tri-slosher with not a pity. PAL has an opportunity here.
Unfortunately, that tri-slosher was not able to get the power clamp, and PAL is currently at the basket, and the try is ignoring the basket right now. He needs to go back. He needs to not be camping at that jump right now. Right now, his team needs help. He can't just be sharking right there, and that's going to cost him as PAL pushes the points to 22. And MSU is just going in 1x1 into PAL right now. PAL looking like they might KO here. And that try dropping in to try to clean up PAL, and well, PAL's gathering clams right now, and it's going to go to overtime for MSU for a bit.
Yeah, MSU really needs to work off that pity they just got, and they're in trouble. Like, this game is now or never, really. Like, if they don't do something soon, they're out of this tournament.
Yeah, no, right now they're going in, they're trying to push, but they're getting picked off by PAL right now. It's just the gal, and that's going to be it.
Good job.
PAL manages to kill and wipe all of MSU, and that's going to be it for MSU, unfortunately.
The set is going to go to PAL 2-1, and PAL will be fighting ITAP.
What a wonderful performance by MSU, especially on that zones match. I think regardless of what has happened here, both teams, I keep sounding like a broken record here, but both teams, MSU and PAL, they both played a wonderful set. They both had key defining moments. They all had interesting and impressive overtime in the zones. And well, PAL was able to get it back together regardless of that overtime segment and managed to beat MSU into a Game 3 in Clam Blitz Mako.
Yeah.
And the audience is cheering for MSU here. And yes, thank you, MSU, as well, for coming out and playing with us today. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you playing as well as you did today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have MSU here today. With that aside, our next set is going to be PAL versus ITAP. And can PAL learn from their pushes that they tried to make when fighting ITAP earlier today to defend and work on their awareness against ITAP's excessive beacons and tent pushes?
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna see. We'll be sure to find out after this short break as we set up for the next and final set of the Splatoon 2 Invitational here at Purdue. below. All right, everyone. It is time. The grand final set against ITAP versus PAL right here today at Purdue. The two Purdue teams going to duke it out once again in a best of 5 match in grand finals.
Yeah, so for this first game here, we're going to be starting with spot zones on Anchovy Games. And Anchovy Games is a very stall-oriented map. There's not a lot of flank routes. So one thing I'm going to be looking for is, what is ITAP going to run here? My guess is they're probably going to run an E-Leader. They're probably going to run the vanilla tent or the tent camo to try and stall out or give them some more objective power. This stage has a lot of flat grounds, and I think the tent Sorella's curling bomb rush could really help to work with that on the side of ITAP. Now, I will point out that their beacon man that we have seen also play YouTuber earlier today is going to have to think how his weapons need to work, because splat rollers are going to struggle in splat zones. They don't paint, he doesn't have a lethal, so he's gonna have to think of ways to get the beacons down and in spots where Pal isn't gonna notice.
Yeah, no, especially since Splat Zone's Anchovy. Splat Zone's Anchovy feels like a lot like a battle pit right there. You gotta like, for the zone, you gotta have like people down in that area, and they just gotta like fight it out. Especially that roller needs someone to help paint with him in order to like get the beacons down and be able to set his spot up in terms of Anchovy. And as for Pal, well, Pal has been running a lot of off-meta comps, which has been very interesting, but we'll see if they'll opt in for a bit more paint this time, because they have been a little bit struggling with a bit of paint in their comps.
Yeah, so I think one of the things about ITAP specifically, I want to take a mention about Mizuno, because a lot of times she seems like the glue for this team. Like, among 3 non-painting weapons, she's the one person that's painting and has the ability to provide for the plays that Gasical and Aster are going to make with their weapons, because without that kind of support, that's really, they're going to struggle to do that all by themselves. And without further ado, we're going to start into zones on Ancho, and let's see what they're going to be running here.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of expecting Ewayne to kind of run some sort of long-range weapon, like a E-Leader or a Hydra. Oh, but it looks like he's running the Glogas, and Aster is running the Charger? Huh?
What? Mizuno's running the Tent, and Gasical running the Junior?
What is this?
And
this
the Junior has QR and stealth stuff? What am I seeing?
Sorry.
They
just completely switched
They're
roles.
gonna feed. Okay, I have to say, Gasical has to be very careful not to feed, because I see him very aggro, but Junior is very much a weapon where you have to use bombs to create spacing, and he fell into the lines of that blob.
Yeah, unfortunately that blob just having good geometry skills right there and managing to go ahead and somehow take that Junior out. But this is a total shock for me. I wasn't expecting ITAP to like completely switch roles at this point. But
well, Pal is taking advantage of this. Mizuno struggling with the 10 a bit. Pal is taking advantage of that, and Pal is the lead here. Now Pal's job is to lock out. They've got a Dynamo that can do that. A blob is very good at getting angles, and that squeezer down, that's going to give ITAP a bit of an advantage to work here. Now, we can see this Junior very far up, kind of a feed. Now, ITAP struggling with the paint.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, it looks like ITAP is able to kind of just recover from this, and the curling bomb rush goes out from Mizuno here as she goes ahead and takes out 2 of Pal, the other one jumping out as Pal needs to just back up right now, and Mizuno is already getting ready to set up to take out their street.
Well, with Tent, one of the things you want to do is focus on attracting people to your shield without overcommitting, and we're not really seeing that to a full degree. Keep in mind, the ITAP players are not playing their main weapons.
We can see Pal almost going in on the zone on his own here at this point. And right now he has none of his teammates' help. Koreki trying to go ahead and trying to help him. But it seems like right now Koreki gets a trade. They do manage to stall the zone here, almost painting, and they do manage to cap, giving a penalty to ITAP here for just a brief moment.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot for Pal because they don't have a lot of paint around themselves, and if ITAP gets enough momentum, or the E-Leader gets a pick, ITAP can just take it right back. And we see the Glugas. That's a good early pick. Good double on Plan B.
Getting a double there and stopping that push from the right side. However, it's a 2v2 situation right now, and it is a fair situation. And ITAP is starting to come back in slowly but surely. Unfortunately, it does seem like Pal is in a stally situation right now as the zone isn't completely painted over, and ITAP is just going to go in and start to cap that zone again.
Yeah, I feel like ITAP could have capped the zone a lot sooner. They really didn't use the man advantage that they had, and they had Gasical down before they took the zone. they should not be having the junior get picked like that in that kind of situation.
Yeah, no, definitely that junior is feeding quite a bit, and it's not putting out a bunch of armors like it should.
Yeah,
well,
I
I mean,
always-
like, not fully armor bot, but like, that junior should be a little bit less aggressive.
Yeah, I can see on the counter there's only 2 armors outputted from that junior. Like, I'm a junior player myself. Like, at this state of the game, I would be looking at 6 or 7 myself.
Yeah, no, definitely. It does seem like right now they have armor, and they're starting to push into their spawn at this point. And PAL is just trying to find specials right now. They've got armor out, they have bubbles on standby, and a Booyah ready to go. Cold going ahead and popping those bubbles to go in and push the zone. 2 are down on the side of PAL. They lose that Booyah, unfortunately, and Cold goes down to a Fizzy Bomb, unfortunately.
Yeah, PAL had a good opportunity there, but it looks like ITAP's going to be the one that takes it and moves forward with it. We can see the Tent. I would like to see the Tent and the Junior work together. Gaisico being a Tent player, he should be able to work with that shield just fine and throw bombs by it. That would be very useful for ITAP in this kind of situation. And ITAP is honestly just building a lockout.
Yeah,
And it looks like the bubbles are just getting popped. I think this game is just going to go to ITAP.
Yeah, no, PAL is having a tough time trying to paint up, and as we see that point counter go down to 0, it is going to be a victory for ITAP. However, this is just game 1.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 more games coming up, and PAL has the opportunity to take one of these games or challenge them and take it to a game 4 or even a game 5. We can see here Gaisico racking up a decent chunk of kills, but he probably also had a good amount of assists as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. PAL did have a strong start, but again, they had a little bit of difficulty trying to hold on to some of their fans, and they weren't winning a lot of their fights. And ITAP was able to go ahead and just keep coming in over and over again and take over zone. And well, they were able to stand their ground, especially since the fact that they literally switched their roles.
Yeah, and we can see here going into the next game, Rainmaker Humpback, that ITAP maybe, are they going to switch their roles again? Who knows? But I could expect regardless, maybe a Spotter Shot Junior, maybe a K-Shot. I think whoever's playing Aster's role could be going K-Machine or Tri-Slosher. I think those are also very good weapons. And I think the V-Charger will also be making an appearance. On the side of PAL, I could expect to see a Dynamo, just something to start giving them control. I think they're going to go the vanilla Clash Buster again. I've been seeing them pull that out on Tower and Rainmaker. They just have to be very careful with that Ray, because they've got to back up quite a bit just to be using that Ray. I think Kareki might just go a Blaster or a Brush or whatever he can really get picks with.
Yeah, honestly, that Luna Blaster has been doing him good there. He has been able to move around with it a bit, but we'll have to see what their comp is. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out a Blaster, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out something else like a Brush or whatever, because I think, honestly, both can work with how I've been seeing PAL's comp spin. As long as they have the paint power, Kareki can and will pull out any weapon he so desires.
Yeah, and the game's going to be starting in just a moment. We can see PAL here just kind of finalizing what they're going to run. And PAL needs to win. PAL only gets an opportunity to lose 1 more game, and they've got to win 3 to win this tournament. So the stakes are really on for PAL. ITAP only needs to get 2 more games and they're done.
Hey, I mean, at least they still have a bit of breathing room, but we don't want to have that. They don't want to get too comfortable with that breathing room. We already see double roller again on the side of PAL. I wonder if it will work well again against ITAP. They tried running this again, but they do get a pick off the sploosh on Aster, but their plan B does go down at this point, and a Ray comes out on the side of ITAP. ITAP manages to sneak 2 kills in, and PAL almost then needs to back up at this point, and he does, but unfortunately the blob does catch him out.
Yeah, I think ITAP here has an opportunity to push. They've gotten the picks. They have a V-Sploosh. How much swim speed up does the V-Sploosh have?
I have no idea, but right now they're already starting to get a push in and starting to get a path up. They do manage to get Kareki out out again, and well, right now it just seems like they're being dominant, and they're gonna try to run in for that KO. As a Booyah comes out, it's kind of pushed out, and unfortunately the Rainmaker does not go down, but it does allow Koreki to start moving in. And yeah, Koreki manages to get the pick on the Rainmaker, buying some time for Pal to start setting up again.
Yeah, well, ITAP has really generated here a lot of momentum for themselves. And the question is, how long can they keep that momentum? Are they going to be able to do it? And the answer, it looks like yes, they got the Rainmaker up to 19, but now only the K-Pro's alive. This is Pal's opportunity to just push ITAP.
Yeah,
a little bit slowly, but they're making it work.
Yeah, Pal definitely did have a bit of a rough defense, but it seems like they are starting to slowly push as a Booyah Bomb comes out, and they are starting to move up. A Booyah Bomb, they do get the Booyah Bomb. Mizuno goes down by the Rainmaker. Oh no, here comes the Ray, and the Ray, Gay does get the Ray on the Rainmaker and manages to stall it for a bit, allowing for all of ITAP to come back up and pop the Rainmaker bubble and set up shop once again.
Yeah, and we can see this Clash here just trying to poke, but you know, Pal did a good job. They didn't feed forward, and that really punished the Clash Blaster there.
Yeah, we can already see Cold getting 1 kill and 1 assist there. That's going to be pretty good for trying to have Pal's position hold up. ITAP is already setting up on their ledge area, and we can see already Aster going ahead and sitting in their bunker right now, trying to get some paint up and trying to find a position for where he can move. Cold picks up the Rainmaker right now, as Aster is still sharking, waiting for an opportunity for someone to mess up right now.
Yeah, and if Pal has one thing going for them, it's specials. They've got a lot of specials. I'd like to see them use them, although they can't use that Storm while the Rainmaker has the Ink Storm in it. Now, Pal just used their specials, but they only got the Blob down, and the Booyah Bomb's gonna hit them, and the Ray, and Pal might be done with that push.
Yeah, they really tried to get a lot of action going on. They tried to push all those specials on, but I wouldn't say it's complete waste, but it definitely didn't do a whole lot.
Well, Pal here is going to start responding, and we can see the sploosh here. Aster just pushing up. Does Pal know he's there? Yes, they do.
They do manage to push him back. However, they are starting to go left elbow at this point, and Mizuno is going ahead and just putting out Rainmaker pellets at like wildfire, keeping Pal back and trying to make some space over for ITAP. Pal just needs to concentrate and get specials ready to go. Koreki going ahead and trying to help and put some pressure on it, and he does. He puts Bomb Rush out and is throwing bombs around at the bunker area for ITAP. Ewayne does jump out, but it seems like Aster coming in right now and he gets picked off by Koreki.
Yeah, Pal definitely has to be very careful with this Ray, and one thing they can do is missile the person using Ray to just make them dislocate, giving the Rainmaker slightly more time just to move around and maybe get some more points in place. But they really need to be punishing Gasicle for his speeding, because he's getting Ray out and it's damaging Pal's pushes entirely. And you know, Pal is pushing one man down. This is a dangerous spot for them.
Oh, but we can already see almost on the roller here. He's coming out to try to get some picks, but unfortunately, he's swinging and he swung and he missed, unfortunately. And yeah, ITAP is going to respond to this now.
Yeah, well, ITAP here having a chance to kind of regroup and get together. They're making another push off the bat, and you can see Pal is just getting ready to defend. There was an initial trade, and we can see ITAP putting out that Ray while they're on the offense, a little bit out of position, and I think Pal is going to get the overtime here.
Yeah, definitely. Pal needs to be careful now at this point, because they have a lot of points to go through. They have a lot of time on that Rainmaker timer. They just need to take their time and find the picks and try to clear out area slowly and surely. They're going left though, but that's going to cost them, as Gay is going to go in and just go ahead and pick them right off, because ITAP was set up there, and that's going to be another game for ITAP, putting it to game point.
Yeah, I saw the team split up there, and that's not really an effective thing to do, because it allowed ITAP to just sneak behind them. And you know how Gasicle and Aster play, that is something they are very much going to take advantage of. And now this is a dangerous situation for POW. POW has to win the next 3 games to win this tournament. If ITAP wins one more game, it's over.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're gonna see, it's the cursed map that ITAP loves, that ITAP quote unquote really hates, and well, I'll just say loves, just to mess with them a bit. Tower Control Manta Maria. If you guys haven't watched what their last LAN that they went to, well, yeah, I think a lot of us can remember what happened at that moment.
Oh, are you referencing the Assault and Pepper set?
Yes, I definitely am. That has been something that has stuck. They are yelling at me, but I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that was an interesting set, just to say the least. I don't think it's right to get into the details.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we all know what happened there. Anyways, Tower Control Manta Maria, POW, ITAP. I'm expecting POW to, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not expecting to see another double roller instance. It kind of worked on Rainmaker. However, Tower Control, not so much. I don't think it will work to their benefit that much.
Yeah, I think something that we're going to see on Tower Manta is that we're going to see a tent and a crack-on roller. ITAP plays with double beacons here, and I think what they're going to try to do is that same utilization strategy. The question is, are they going to switch roles like they did in the Antra Zones game?
I don't know, but it's definitely going to be an interesting thing if they decide to go ahead and switch the roles once again. But honestly, Tower Control Manta, I don't know. They definitely don't want to mess this one up. That's for sure.
Definitely. I think for PAL, what they need to be doing is really just taking control of the cut and bunker that ITAP would use to facilitate their own pushes. And we'll see in the first 15-20 seconds if that gets accomplished. PAL going for a very pick-heavy comp.
Well, so is ITAP as well.
That is a good point. We see double roller here, a brush and a heavy.
Well, you should also take in notes that there's a Noctobrush Nouveau, 2 Crack-Ons. They are running a beacon comp.
Yeah, it's 3 beacons, so I'm actually kind of wondering what I'm going to see here. This is not something we usually have to be commentating.
Yeah,
And
we already see Mizuno going in and after Plan B, and ITAP has already set up shop. Their pick-heavy comp is working out for them, and PAL is having a bit of trouble trying to get back in right now. ITAP is set up in their shop.
Yeah, if you're ITAP right now, you just want to keep this momentum, and Mizuno's doing exactly that, getting a good trade. Remember, ITAP's got beacons, so ITAP is really going to be able to just respawn and jump right back into the action.
Yeah, no, right now, ITAP is currently riding that tower, and they're going to go past 2 checkpoints at this point. PAL is not being careful of those ledges right now, and it is very, very much costing them. Mizuno going ahead and putting on the brush pressure on PAL, and unfortunately, it looks like their push, PAL is going to put out enough pressure for them to be able to at least stall the tower for just a bit.
Yeah, we can see here, PAL's kind of clustering by this bunker, and Aster's really taking advantage. PAL seems to be tunneling on objective, and they're gonna get through the checkpoint here if they aren't careful.
Yeah, right now it seems like ITAP is pretty much shut up in shop as Aster goes in and tries to jump to a beacon to try to pick off Koreki, but unfortunately, Koreki does manage to clear most of them up, and it seems like right now the beacons are getting destroyed, but it seems like another roller has a plan to go ahead and pop Borer and keep his spot. Unfortunately, PAL is still having some trouble on the defense side as ITAP is not completely cleared out.
Yeah, I think PAL needs to really watch for where these guys are going, because if PAL has good awareness, this is a very beatable composition, especially because there's not many lethals, and PAL is starting to do exactly that, starting to make a push. Told us to be careful not to overextend here.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more control around that cut and bunker.
Yeah, no, definitely Cold on his own here. It's a little bit risky as the roller goes ahead and drops down. He manages to pick off one person, but this may, yep, there he goes. He gets picked off himself, unfortunately. But he does manage to distract ITAP a bit and keep him a little bit back. Koreki going on his own again, but manages to get the trade off Ewing.
Yeah, so we can really see it's kind of a 1v1 here, and in this kind of situation, you just want to focus on map control, because if you get wiped, which would happen just from one pick, that provides infinite advantage for the team with the player already on the ground.
Yeah, no, definitely. ITAP going ahead here and just going ahead and get mid control right now. Pao is going ahead and trying to set up right now to go ahead and push him back into street. And it looks like they do have a bit of a pushing power. And Cold popping off that Ray right now. But he gets picked off by Gay there for a second. And he's going to go straight to their spawn right now and just completely ignore tower.
Yeah, one of the concerning things with Pal, though, is that they just aren't popping that many specials and whatnot, because I'm only seeing each person pop one special. And yes, Koreki has 14 KA on his Luna, but he needs to focus on specials to gain that more momentum.
Yeah.
And I think they're struggling with that, and that's providing huge advantage for ITAP's kill-heavy comp.
Yeah, no, part of the reason why they aren't able to get a bunch of specials is they end up going down by most of the roar comps, and unfortunately, Pal is actually, no, this is actually fortunate for Pal. They're able to go ahead and get some picks off real quick, and leaving ITAP to stay in mid, but at least Pal has a bit of a foothold to start moving up a little bit.
Yeah, if you're ITAP here, you just want to solidify your own bunker and prevent Pal from really starting a major push. And it looks like ITAP is kind of struggling right now. It's just the heavy.
Yeah, definitely. Pao can start moving up here. Koreki going ahead and trying to move up here, and Ewayne is going to have to jump back a bit as Pao goes ahead for that first checkpoint.
Yeah, Koreki really is doing a good job just trying to locate people. One of the things you want to be doing in this kind of situation is figuring out where everybody is and stopping the choke points to tower. Because you want to be getting this checkpoint, and it looks like they weren't able to get it, or they were. It looks like they weren't able to get that checkpoint, and only 3 seconds left. It's going to be overtime. ITAP is wiped.
ITAP wiped? What the heck? Pal is going ahead and trying to push up the checkpoint right here. They need to not start. They need to not feed in at this point. Unfortunately, two goes down, and it's just Cold by himself. He's gonna have to be a one-man army, and that's it. ITAP takes him out and manages to secure the win. 3-0. The tournament goes to ITAP.
Yeah, and a good showing from Pal, who got second here, and also a big thanks to MSU for coming out to Purdue to participate in this tournament. And good job to everybody that performed today. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Both teams were doing a good job showing off their skills and having just a good time, having a blast. And, well, getting the true LAN experience, which we are slowly but surely is becoming more frequent here in the Splatoon community.
Yes. And with that aside, we encourage you also, if you're new, to check out other tournaments and other events going on in the scene. There's also another LAN in a few weeks, so...
yes, LTC is coming up. That is definitely going to be interesting. Honestly, yeah. If you're a college team and that you've been pretty impressed with like how what you can do with your colleges, try to organize something. Try to contact other esports organizations. I know some colleges out there are starting to form those, but Splatoon teams that are in colleges, this can happen. This can happen. We're making this happen. And it can definitely happen more frequently. We can definitely have more stuff like this out here.
Yeah, something I want to point out is some of the new college teams that are forming. Like MSU is a fairly new team. There's also new teams, I believe, at the University of Texas, Dallas. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think Texas Dallas has a team. I think they go by Comet Blasters. Comet Blasters, yeah. Yeah, they have a pretty cool logo.
Yeah. And in addition, the UCSD team has been around for a while, and we've actually seen some people graduate from there. For example, like DRF, and I think Penn State also has been working on something recently. So it'll be good to see what progress all these teams make.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I mean, it looks like our segment is going to be ending very short. Is going to be ending now. Do you have any final words to say, Cynthia?
Not really. It was just a good day and good to watch all these sets. So, with that out of the way, like honestly, we'll be back, but with different commentators in Dota 2.
Yes, definitely. Stay for those interested in Dota 2. We're going to be switching over there very shortly as we wrap up as we go ahead and continue on with the Purdue Invitational here. To sign off, I am Dynamite Central. You can find me over at Twitter.